evening. Here is top news newsletter, starting with the headlines. Army tightens news around terrorist organizations across the country. The Syrian army repel an attack by the so-called ISIS on strategic airport. Lavrov, aim of inter-Syrian meeting in Moscow is to help for preparation of new round of talks. Units of the army and armed forces continued military operations against the terrorist organizations across the country, targeting their positions and destroying more of their dens. A unit of the army and armed forces killed all members of an armed terrorist group northeast of Al-Tarfawi in the eastern countryside in Homs Central Province. Units of the army and armed forces destroyed dens of terrorists, killing scores of them and injuring others in the town of al-Batne and Mishhara and Ovania in the countryside of Al-Qunaytra Southern Province. Authorities seized an amount of detonators that are used for making explosive devices hidden inside the vehicle on the international highway near Homs. While searching the vehicle that was heading to Aleppo, authorities found 11 reels of plastic caps and 65 detonators boxes hidden inside it. The Syrian army continued in its advance in different parts of Idlib province in the northwestern part of the countryside and repels an attack by the so-called ISIS terrorists on Abu Zuhur military airport. The terrorists were pushed back from the surrounding area of Abu Zuhur military airport as they were trying to launch a fresh wave of offensive on army positions at the airport in the eastern part of the city of Saraqib in Idlib countryside. Hold up in the house, the militant shot at members of a special police force refusing to give himself up before being neutralized. The drone was on a spying mission above the town of Al-Hadar when it was shot down. In 2014, especially after the victory of the President Bashar al-Assad in the country's presidential election, the army has gained upper hand in its anti-terrorism campaign and has been partly successful in sealing border with Turkey and Jordan. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said the inter-Syrian meeting in Moscow aims at preparing for a new round of talks, taking into account the mistakes that were made in the Geneva conference in 2014. Lavrov said at the conference that what is needed is holding dialogue in a calm atmosphere with all sides being represented in order to reach a political solution, noting that the opposition members will have the chance to hold talks in a neutral place without any representation of other states. The Russian Foreign Minister reiterated that counter-terrorism is vital for overcoming the crisis in Syria, pointing out that bombarding any site of state under the pretext of eliminating terrorist groups without the approval of the concerned states and the Secret Council is illegal. He added that counter-terrorism should be implemented in accordance with international law, as the Secret Council is the only body allowed to designate any group as a terrorist group. Lavrov said that the discourse of some Western power who claim that cooperation with the Syrian government for counterterrorism is impossible, citing the example of the dismantling of chemical weapons which took place through cooperation with the Syrian government. In the Iranian view, Mohammad Reza Rouhani, who was Iran's first vice president under former president Mohammad Ahmadinejad, has been sentenced to 5 years in prison and fined, AFP said. Rouhani, 66, is the most senior official from the Ahmadinejad era to have been convicted. The Supreme Court verdict came after a trial on corruption charges, according to Iranian media. Indonesian divers found 5 bodies bolted into their seats near the main section of an AirAsia plane that crashed into the Java Sea last month with 1,060 people on the board. The divers hope to reach the fuselage. A total of 59 bodies have now been found following the crash of flight QZ 9501, which went down on December 29. Indonesian Transport Minister Ignacio John said earlier that the plane climbed abnormally fast before stalling and plunging into the sea. That's all for today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Inas Ahmed. Good night.